State Government Ethics Act to avoid conflicts of interest and the appearance of such conflict, and further are instructed to refrain from participating in any manner coming before this Board of County Commissioners with respect to which there is a conflict of interest or appearance of such conflict. Commissioner Cody, would you give the invitation?
Let's pray. Good day, Heavenly Father. We just give you all praise and glory, Father, for each and everything that you do for us. Father, we ask that you just be with us and just guide us in this meeting. Just give our thoughts, and Father, and just let us do the right thing for the people of this county. Father, we ask that you just remember those who are sick and ill throughout our county and just continue just to touch them in their bodies. And Father, we're just so thankful for the blessings and the gifts and the opportunities you bestowed upon us. And Father, we just ask that you just watch over us and protect us. And all these things we ask of you in the precious and holy name of Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Madam Chair, number 6, I'll be presenting the letter from Chris Ferris. He was not able to travel due to all the COVID shutdowns.
Any other? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Second, thank you. All in favor? Okay, I will now ask for approval of the minutes for the workshop and regular November 17th meeting, the organizational meeting of December the 7th, and a special meeting of December the 7th. Is there a motion to approve? Second, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, we'll recognize second for the tax office update.
Okay, so as you know, we have engaged with Chris Ferris, the City Ferris Incorporated, to help with our reval and training our tax office in the reval process. He has provided a letter to you as the board. He says the Department of Revenue has sent us a recommendation for the upcoming 21 through 23 reappraisal. We, along with City Ferris, are requesting the permission to move forward using a walk around, take pictures, and if the card is wrong, and perform full listed measure on the property. Now, and I will stop here. From what he told me, we have to inform the Department of Revenue as to what type of revaluation that we will be doing. And his recommendation is based on the fact that we have found numerous issues and errors between mapping scroll card as we've done our audit. So that will be one action the board will need to take, is to approve that. To be able to accomplish this goal, we are requesting one full-time temp position that will list and measure, help pick up the construction, and help with the appeals as needed. The full-time temp will also help with data entry as needed. This position will need to be hired as soon as possible to start the process in January, no later than February. It will need to be kept through the appeals process of the reval through 2023. In January, the appeals process begins, which will take up a lot of time with the tax office's miles, and then we'll be taking appeal letters and preparing to go visit the appeal properties the 1st of February. After the appeal time, this is Brandy's part. Chris will begin to train Miles and Brandy properly in a schedule of values, market neighborhoods, the valuation of land and property editing, properly editing the properties in VITEC along with the commercial appraisals. We are hoping to have meetings with the commissioners along the way for updates and have workshops on the schedule of values so that we will all know how to use the schedule of values for guidance and proper procedure for the next reval cycle. And this was co-written by Chris Ferris and Randy Hood. I am doing some, this is Becky talking, I am doing some research and I'm guessing Commissioner Cody can help out here in the labor law in reference to temp positions, because from what I'm reading, you can keep a temp position for up to 2 years without paying benefits for that position. However, they could be subject to be picking up for retirement. If the way our wait period works, they would be about out of the position before retirement would begin. But I want to do additional reading on that within labor law. I would recommend that the temp position be put in place so that Brandy and Miles can more efficiently learn the process, which that position, because it would be dedicated for retail, could be paid under your retail funds. But I do want to clarify about the benefits before we move on.
Is there any discussion on the letter from Chris Bears and anything that Becky has shared with us? Okay, I believe, my understanding is that we need to vote on the type of reval. Is it called a walk around? Yes, walk around reevaluation is what has been recommended by Chris Ferris. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Second? Thank you. All in favor? And do we need to make a decision on the 10th position this evening?
I would ask that if we can, I guess what I would need to do is let the board know what our position is in reference to benefits. And then if you guys are okay with it, then maybe if it's pleasing to the board, we can hold the board. If you're okay with the concept of hiring a temp.
Would it be necessary to hire before our next meeting? And I think that we should table it as you recommended for additional studies.
Then what I would do is just, I can come back in January and bring my findings. I can go ahead and, send out the information ahead of the meeting for January's meeting.
Okay. Is there any discussion on tabling hiring of a temp for further study until January meeting?
We'll also need to know what kind of salary we're going to pay.
Correct.
Yeah. Will this individual have to have a background check? Due to the fact that he is handling documentation?
So will you get all that information together for us? Thank you, Becky. All right. There's nothing further. I will recognize project manager, Jason Marino.
Good evening, Commissioners, everyone. I wanted to provide some updates on projects. And also, we do have some bids to open. I'll wait until the end. We'll move to those bids. We'll go over a few things quickly, some updates that we have. I know we probably talked about the welcome sign last time. I just want to reiterate that the welcome sign is complete, including the new sign within the stonework. We did a really good job on that. We released the funds. We do have the old sign. I've talked to Kim several times. We use that somewhere else probably. It did have some damage to it, but it is useful for some other things that we see fit. Just a reminder, the new cemetery department building is Thursday this week, and the Board of Elections renovation, we're also including within that contract as an alternate bid for that contract, the remodel in the bathroom in this facility. They're in dire need of new fixtures and some upgraded architectural finishes. So that will bid next Tuesday as well.
So everybody's the same protection.
Hopefully, it will be included. Maybe we'll have something that'll, knock out microphones when anybody goes in the system. That'll be next Tuesday. And I'm optimistic right now that I'd like to like to think I'm gonna get at least 2 each. They're rebids, so we'll be able to open whatever we get. But I'm fielding questions and issuing addendums for those projects, so I'm optimistic at least 2 contractors each will bid those projects. We're met with the bidders also on the 6th grade edition. I've been working with camp manager, Ms. Garland on that. There were 2 bids only for that on the rebid for the 6th grade edition for the school, and both were pretty much over budget. So they're reaching back to the Department of Public Instruction for more money. And then I've talked to them about what they think it might be. It could be anywhere from an additional $800,000 to $1 million or more they're going to need if they go with the lowest bidder on that contract. So there's some negotiations working with that. We'll keep that. We'll keep observation of that and see where that's going to go as they work towards it. There was some good news on a phone call I was with that it seemed like the Department of Instruction would be willing to add additional grant money to their project. So that's good news. And of course, we would have to work with the county manager and the commission board to get them match that money. And we'll keep you informed on how that comes about or what changes may incorporate into that project. The new Justice Center, I have to get with county manager Ms. Garland on scheduling that last final presentation. There's some emails that went around. You and I will probably talk this week. We'll work that out, and then we'll get with the board and see when we can schedule a last final presentation. The HVAC systems for the DPH DSS facility has been awarded. That is anticipated to begin on January the 4th after the new year, approximately about a 2-week total duration. And that will go to Elliott Brothers. And that's all that was approved last time with those upgrades and improvements to the system. We'll monitor it as everything to the total amount of what the approved scope of work was to try to get as much out of that as we can to make everybody comfortable. It's hard to do that, but we'll get as close as we can. And I'll keep the board updated as that project moves along after the new year. The washer and dryer connections for the health department side, their architectural finish is pretty much about done today. I'll go through and do a punch list, walk through an acceptance for that tomorrow morning. And the electrical should be done possibly tomorrow, but no later than the end of the week. And then we'll just be waiting on the equipment. So that's good. That was installed fairly quickly. So that's positive for that project. And then unless there's any question on those, we'll move on to the new recreation department bids that are here. We can open.
In there, but that project towards the school, do they have a date as far as when they actually want to break ground and get started?
They didn't set a solid date, but they're looking at spring as well too. They want to wait until the spring time frame, and I think there's a 365-day total duration on that project as well. But yeah, we're looking at the early spring, March, April, so they'd like to try to get started. That could also be a left or right, depending on what they do. They are in the process of trying to de-scope that to bring the cost down, depending on what they need. So I talked to Kevin with the school today, and they're looking at maybe possible drainage, just some other things maybe to fix
Okay, I have a bid here from RCM Incorporated for the Grant County Recreation Department pre-engineered metal building. The base bid is $435,500.
Say that again.
There's 2 copies there. Would you like me to pass them down to you? $435,500. The base bid. Anybody like to see a copy of this one? Okay. Okay, this bid is from Aldrich Brothers. The base bid from Aldrich Brothers is $341,442. Those are the two bids that we have. Any discussion? Questions on the bids? Would you like to take a look at it, Jason?
Yeah, probably, I guess.
That'd be
Yeah,
good.
should I go ahead and take them now? I need to certify that they put all the information that's supposed to be bid boxes. So. And there's some alternates too that I need to write there.
How much do we progress for that?
And we're trying to, we left it off because we didn't know what the cost was gonna be, but, you know, we're paying like $150.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
We figured after talking to some of it, I had a high and a low. The estimates with kind of taking into consideration some of the things that are happening, as you well know, that even the school was $1 million over. We were looking at low at around 211 for this 1,900 square foot building, and the high was around 242,000. So I guess with that 341 is probably within about 100K of our high.
What's we talked about the wait time on that building, is it still 15 weeks or something?
That's what I'm understanding and coming back to is now that they're talking to their building manufacturers, about 12 to 15 weeks lead time getting it on site. The intent was to award it hopefully this month or early next month. That gives them that window to start, say, April 1st. Still another 180 days or 6 months, so that must have 9 months to build it and completes.
I have a question for Jay. Building materials, they have gone up 32 to 35% since March, April. But according to Forbes, they expect them to start dropping. When we enter into a contract, if we enter into a contract, can we have language in there that refers to the price of materials that if they have some dramatic drop that has to be passed on to us as well, as far as the savings? If they drop 20% in the next 3 months, that's a considerable savings to the county or a considerable bonus to the contractor.
I would think we could.
Jason, I think in some of our conversations we had last week, anticipating knowing that this is gonna come in higher, you had an idea that was real similar to what Commissioner Higgins is questioning.
Yeah, almost would be kind of like what the school is doing, almost if how we feel about this bid, we can move into negotiations with the contractor. But not award it, with the intent, issuing an intent to award letter and moving to negotiations with the contractor, try to get us down as much as we can, and then work through those date timeframes after the new year, because it's not supposed to start until 1 April. We could cover the cost of the metal building, which again, I need to really dig into that if we decide to go with that to see what the difference would have been last year. If it doesn't change a lot, we can enter in and let them order the building, have it on order. And then when we look at the different costs after, say, March 1st into April 1st, what we get cut off of with the new prices. That would be the intent.
I don't think from what I read, I think, the price drops can come in lumber and plywood. So building offices, whatever woodwork is inside the building, is we might realize some savings. I mean, piece of high-pitch plywood, it's $40 these days. 4 studs, somebody told me $6.80, that sound right?
The OSB, which is usually your cheapest shoe, is ridiculous.
$32 a shoe.
Yeah.
They was hardware.
It's gone crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel a little better about the 100K, but that's still outside the budget we really wanted to put into this facility. But again, there's some options there with negotiations of the contract.
So, Ms. Garland, do we project the financing this one, or pay cash?
Well, what we talked about is, using the money in our capital project fund to front the cost, and then when we get ready to finance the courthouse, reimburse ourselves, kind of like we did with the P&J building. We got, $2.1 million, and I'll show you that in the finance report in the capital project fund. And we didn't do a budget a capital project ordinance with the budget because of the uncertainty. And where we were estimating, I think, was the last budget year, just to throw some numbers out. But that money obviously, it's not appropriated at this point. We just have to do a capital project ordinance once the board is ready to contract. And I would recommend, Jason and I talked about this too, is the board tabling the bids tonight so that he can do a deep dive into the bids and make sure all the items are there, and also start looking at projections for what may happen.
Thank you, Becky. So if we table this discussion to the list until later, until you do the research and study that you need to do you still need an intent to award a letter to begin negotiations?
Yes, if we want to start talking to all of our individual, they're going to presume a little bit, or if they provide all their information required for the bid package to make it certified bid, then we would need that in order to start talking to them.
Is there any wish for discussions or any changes to the building itself? The size or whatever is internal in the building, is that something the board would be interested in getting information on as well?
I think it was pretty much our with whenever the only time we had to do it was that next time, which was needed.
Okay. All right.
We value the engineer the same. We gave it, you can send it off to a couple of the commissioner. It's good. There's some things we could do. I just don't know if we're going to get back that 100,000 or even more. But there are some things to do, like we engineered the same for equipment to be used in that main warehouse, small office space. So he's going to need to use that whole area outside of that warehouse for storage and hanging things up. So we engineered walls on the inside. There might be an ability, if we need to get it done now, to take some of that out. Problem is that doesn't give him the storage that he needs. We initially engineered this where he can do whatever kind of shelving he wants. If you put sheeting up with studs, you can put shelves in any kind of format you want. Put hangers up wherever you need. So that's sort of, we wanted it to be a usable warehouse when he was built and done and walked out. Turn the key, Ronnie can go and start stacking some. There's some things there that, like Commissioner Ellis said, it is bare minimum for the most part, basic stuff.
Do you have a comment, Commissioner Reed?
I had another question for Jay. We always, in our bids, we have the language, we reserve the right to reject. If we issue an intent to award letter, are we going to still be able to reject even if we've got kind of terms?
Yeah, because bid is just an offer, and you don't form a contract until you accept that offer, and you put it in the language of an intent. It should be an intent to negotiate, with the understanding that we may not reach the end of it if we don't really form a contract until
you accept, both sides accept the number resolved. So you can go forward with negotiations.
We have to bid after the intent letter has been.
Right here. The intent letter needs to probably state right up front, this is not an acceptance of the bid law. This is just our notice that we intend to negotiate further with, you probably written order nine. That's basically, that's the so that you can still talk, but you're not awarded the contract.
We want to proceed.
Okay, I will ask for a motion to move forward with the intent to award pending negotiation letter. Is there a motion?
Right.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, do you have anything further?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
So,
I will recognize, town manager and finance officer for your report back. Thank you.
I'll go through the finance report first. I have quite a bit of good news in it. I'm real pleased with the results that we had in the month of November. If you look on page 1, you'll see there's a minimum cash balance, $8,868,209. That is after I have transferred the board approved last meeting, the 114, we opened the capital management trust account for the school sales tax for that building project, and also the transfer into the capital project fund of $200,000. If you'll look below that, you'll see, as I mentioned earlier, we have 2.1 million, a little over 2.1 million in the capital project fund, and then 114,000 in the capital management fund. The general fund capital management total that it brings down is a little bit about 1.5 million, but it's included in 8.8 million. If you look on page 3, you will see that our tax collections were very healthy for the month of November, which was expected. We have our mortgages coming in November. So our real property current year taxes were $1,069,492, which is a little over $900,000 over this time last year. Prior year, that taxes were $11,111, which is about $5,000 more than last year's total, for a total add-on of $1,080,703. Our DMV DTS is $47,798, so it's remaining healthy, which is a little bit over this time last year, so it's glad for that. If you look at page 4, you will see that we have collected $2,972,577 in real taxes for the year, and $264,000 in DMV. We are $245,000 ahead in our real property collections from this time last year, and $39,000 in DMV. Our tax collection rate is at 40.14%. It's a little bit lower than this time last year. And I can look at where we were in our levy. This time last year, our levy was a little lower, so that has suppressed our tax collection rate. And we are doing very well. I would anticipate the Brookfield payment to come through either right in December or early January. It varies every year. So we'll get a big chunk of change either the end of this month or next month. So I was pleased that our tax collections are holding steady and actually ahead. That's a testimony to our taxpayers. And I'm so appreciative to them that they are so diligent in paying their taxes. We appreciate it. If you look on page 5, you'll see that our revenues collected for the month of November were $2,185,000. Our expenditures were $1,264,000, so we have a surplus of $921,000 for the month of November. That's better than this time last year because we got more mortgages in, and then we also, the timing, and we got some cost settlements in as well for the month, so that has pushed our revenues up above this time last year. Our year-to-date surplus is at $881,000, and if you look at my numbers from, previous months, if you look at your reports, I went back and made adjustments for the audit, so it won't exactly, line up, but it's all good. I've reviewed all our months, to make sure we're good. This time last year, we were looking at $150,000 loss in our general fund, so, again, I'm very thankful. I did not anticipate it being this healthy, and I just hope that gives us a good cushion going into the winter. We don't know what's going to happen with COVID in the winter, so I'm thankful to have this surplus to walk in the winter with. Page 7, you'll see our sales tax continues to be healthy. We collected $213,518. That does not include the additional quarter cent. If you look below, you'll see that that amount was $20,418. So we are still, we're a little bit lower than our numbers for November. However, we're still about $98,000 ahead of this time last year. And at that total, $125,000 is the 524 expenditure, which $36,000 will go toward the schools. So we're still standing good with our sales tax. Property tax collections and our arrear taxes, the tax office continues to do a good job there. And we're almost to our $500,000 benchmark we set in 13, believe it or not, that's 7 years ago. So we've done a remarkable job. That $500,000 that we've collected has saved the taxpayers a nickel on the tax rate. So that's a good thing. Any questions on the finance report? Okay, on the budget, you'll see I've highlighted in yellow any departments that seem to be running ahead of their budget. We should have 59% remaining in each budget. For the county, we're at 61% remaining, so we're staying well within the budget for the county. All of the analysis that I did, if you want to look and put the comments to the right-hand side, any department that's running ahead of that 59% is all explainable. So there's no outliers that are laying out there that's saying, okay, why are we running hot? It's not because of mismanagement, it's where we had a capital outlay, which pushes the budget ahead. EMS is running a little ahead, but that's because of COVID. We've had a lot more supplies, and we've had some more overtime. But again, we've had CARES Act money to help fill those gaps, so we should be good in those budgets. Any questions on the budget? I want to commend our department heads who do this every night. We came up with a very draconian budget this year, and they're riding our budget, and they're taking care of their money very well. I'm very thankful to them for that. I do have some budget amendments that relate to most of it's COVID. I have budget amendment number 10. We picked up an additional $1,500 from Duke Energy for relief money for people with their utilities bills. We also got an additional $12,100 for some foster home stipends that go to the foster homes to help with additional expenses, maybe help them with telecommuting house for their students or what have you. So I am proposing an additional $13,600 to go into the DSS fund for the additional COVID money. Any questions on that amendment number 10?
You want to approve it now?
Sure.
All right. Is there a motion to approve budget amendment number 10?
Motion.
Second, all in favor?
Budget amendment number 11 again relates to CARES Act. I think in October we did some amending to move money around in our CRF plan. And then in the organizational meeting, and the meeting following it, the board approved doing some additional monies to the school system to assist with their meal distribution. So I am picking up the additional cost of $40,385. I'm going to shift this out of salaries where we had overestimated salaries in EMS, and then also to pick up the cost of PPE that we have and other COVID expenses like plexiglass and whatnot, just to fill in that gap in the administration salary or administration line. So this has no net effect other than just shifting items around so that our job is not as a plan.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve budget amendment number 11?
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Good.
Thank you. All in favor?
Budget amendment number 12 again relates to COVID. Senior Center through Blue Cross Blue Shield grant is getting $19,884 to help with the Meals on Wheels program. And we're getting food costs as well as delivery, any kind of equipment that they need on Meals on Wheels program. And then we received an additional $33,895 in lease money. So that brings that total to about $75,000 that this county has gotten for leave, which is a blessing for folks that need help with their utilities. So the total is $53,779 in additional revenues and the offsetting costs.
Is there a motion to approve budget amendment number 12? Is there a second?
Good.
You all in favor?
Thank you very much. I'll move into the manager's report if there's no other questions in reference to finance. I do want to speak to the CARES Act for Schools program. The school system has ordered the radio equipment that was approved by the state and the board under the CARES Act. As you know, I just did the budget amendments for over $40,000. This expenditure will be included in the January 8th final report. I will be sending my amended CRF plan for an expenditure that's due at the end of this week. And we did receive verification yesterday that the equipment's been ordered, that it is being shipped and will be installed within the time frame allotted by the CARES Act. So that's good news. On the nonprofit school food distribution, on our last NC Pros call, the state stated that due to guidelines for funding nonprofits, they do not recommend making allocations to them via the CARES Act for food distribution. However, they did state that since counties can use the funds for salaries for substantially dedicated employees, which we have been using, this could free up general fund dollars to make the distributions to the nonprofits if the board still wants to do so. I did have a Zoom call with the officials just to verify this and to verify that this would not be a non-supplant issue, and they verified that. So, as they have recommended, I am recommending that from a final report that we continue to claim the salaries and benefits for these substantially dedicated employees, and then that would allow us to use general fund dollars that have not been expended on salaries for the $30,000 allocation that the board approved. This appears to be the cleanest way to handle these funds because the methodology of the expenditure is more straightforward and very clearly explained in the law, whereas the nonprofit distribution issue is murky at best. So my recommendation would be that we provide those allocations. This allows the nonprofits not to be so restricted as to the timeline, so that they're not running out buying stuff that they may or may not be able to distribute in time, and we can still help the people in the county in the same way. I would need the board to approve this as an expenditure out of our budget, and then we would need to do a budget amendment to do so.
So we need a motion on that.
If it's pleasing to the board.
We have talked about that, and I like one of the distributors, and that person is sick with COVID right now, and then I'll have all the numbers together for you. So, do I hear a motion to follow the recommendation of the county manager on the allocation to provide food for the county of the $30,000? there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. I spoke with Kevin White with the school system today. He and Superintendent Knight contacted me regarding the facility needs survey that's due on January 4th, DPI. This is a survey wish list that is done every 5 years. However, Mr. White told me when he came by to bring the survey that it had not been submitted since 2010. And he's not sure why, because he was not in that role. I have included his survey in your packet, if you walk me through it. The assessment looks at capacity needs and past expenditures for capital needs for the past 5 years and it projects it into the next 2 years. If you look at the top of the survey, you'll see that the elementary school is right at capacity. However, when the middle school addition is completed, students from that the grade that will be shifting, I think 6th grade, will take that school underneath capacity. The middle school is under capacity, but he's incorporated what the new capacity would be under the with the new construction. And then, as you can see, the high school is under capacity. They have spent in the past 5 years $904,000 in capital outlay projects. And then he does show facility needs for 0 to 5 years. The elementary school needing renovations, a little shy of $5.9 million. The middle school obviously would not need anything, and then the high school would need $1.3 million. Now remember that this is a wish list, okay? It's not like they're asking the board to commit to anything at this point. If you look on the next page, you'll see the breakdown of the 0 to 5 years for each school. And he did want me to let you know that the one item that is urgent is the $800,000 to replace football field lights. It has to be done by August 2021, or can't, because playoff games. And I believe he or some of the school personnel have talked with Commissioner Nelms about that, and he's been working on that, and they have some comment to it. Then he also stated that the 6 to 10 year need would be $33 million for a new school, for the elementary school, and then $6 million for the high school, with the $6 million representing moving the stadium to the high school campus if the elementary school campus is no longer housed where it's right behind us. Again, they did want to emphasize that this is a wish list only. DPI requires that the Board of County Commissioners sign a survey that they have reviewed the survey, but that the signatory, and I'm quoting, does not constitute endorsement or commitment to fund the survey. So he did ask that the Board of Commissioners sign off. I did provide the original for Commissioner Orr, if the board is willing to sign the survey.
Do I hear a motion in favor of signing the DPI facility needs survey, understanding that this is very, we are not assuming any responsibility, just supporting the DPI survey. Have a motion, is there a second? All in favor?
Okay, thank you. I think bullet point number 4 has already had some informal discussion in reference to the Ronnie Millsap Highway. I have attached copies of the resolutions that were read at the state DOT meeting week before last, maybe the road that the board designated. I will be submitting the payment of $2,000 for the designation to DOT this week. This was approved by the board when you made the application. If the county would like to have a dedication ceremony, I will need to contact Commissioner Dark Cody to arrange that. So I will need to know dates to work toward that would fit Mr. Millsap's schedule, because hopefully he would be able to attend. And then I think you already discussed the sign, and he did send me a picture of the mock-up, for the board to look at. If you guys, I can send it around if my phone will work appropriately. This is just the facsimile sign. It's not the final sign, but it would be the one that he would get in advance of the sign.
Okay, do we have any, idea of when the actual signs will be complete?
He indicated it usually takes about 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
I would think that that would be information that Commissioner Cody would need to begin the conversation with, Rhonda staff.
And I'll be happy to verify that timing with, Mr. Burks.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, is there anything further we need to address on that tonight?
I think that was just information.
Okay. So, we get the, and we'll, get this, and talk about a date, to do the dedication. Okay, thank you.
All right, and then I did want to advise the board that we have received, I think I've sent emails to that effect, if I haven't, I apologize. Notification of the funding of the debris removal in the amount of $48,116.25 for the Little Snowbird flood and matching funds of $4,582. The project is allowed 220 days from the timing of funding is finally awarded to complete the project, and that's a lot longer than what we were told, which is a blessing. I will be having a conference call with the state in reference to that funding on Thursday. I think it's at 9 o'clock in the morning. But I did need the board to accept the funding so that I can, and Commissioner Eller's already signed off on everything, but I'd like it on the record that the board officially accepted this grant.
I will entertain a motion from the board to, accept this grant for the putting of, Snowbird flood.
No.
Second? Second. Thank you, all in favor?
Thank you.
One question. Matching funds, where is that?
I think if my memory serves, I have to go back in my notes, that it can come either from in kind, where like if we provide some workforce or labor.
These, the candidate and Larry and
Right.
Yes. Yes. So that won't actually require an expenditure of funds necessarily. And I did have a question because I know in our discussion that the homeowners will need to sign a form that they agree with the work that's going to be done. And I know that some of our residents were going to work on it, but due to COVID, they didn't get to. And I wasn't sure if we need to kind of pursue that or. Okay. And, you know, I do want to emphasize that this project will be to clean up the trees and the debris in the street. It will not be used and cannot be used to fix private property. I've had a few folks calling me and asking me about that. This will hopefully remediate the fact, you know, for future floods so that this doesn't happen again. I do have some public safety capital expenditures I want to propose. The 911 board is added again, and threatening to grab our funding because we've not had big expenditures out of fund balance for the past year or two because we got the grant and outfitted the 911 center. And we knew this was coming. So, NEC has made a couple of proposals. We do need to replace our Ztron workstations. They were only like 6 months old when we moved into the call center. And so now they're aged out. And so she's asking that we use 911 funds and that'll help spend down our fund balance for these workstations for $49,064, which is 100% 911 money. And I would need approval from the board to make those.
Good question.
Yes.
How long have we been up there? A year?
A little over 3 years.
So more or less, these Econ units are 18 months old.
Well, no, they're 3 years old. We moved those Zetron from the old, center to the new because they were not aged out at that point. So they're actually 3 years old.
So it says they were new when we built.
Well, they were still, I should say new, they were newer, they weren't out of life at that point, this is what I should say.
I'm okay with doing it. I would ask that we purchase something that has a longer lifespan, if that's possible, and even if it costs more money.
Mm-hmm.
3 years is no lot. Of course, technology changes so much and so quick. So,
I'll have Misty check on that.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Do I hear a motion to approve 911 funds to be spent to Western Carolina Communications Systems for 911 center in the amount of, including taxes, $52,488. Is there a second? All in favor?
The next thing that Misty is proposing is partly 911 Department County funds, and so I'm going to ask your forbearance as I work my way forward in MS, and I'll show you a little bit how we might make this work. She's proposing a mobile data information center, which will integrate with the CAD system to allow the 911 system to show the officer and the paramedics and allow them to virtually work with the CAD system on their tablets. So basically, when they're out on a call, they can see what the dispatchers are seeing, as well as update if the dispatchers have like a lot of radio traffic or whatever, instead of them having to, if they radio in and the dispatcher couldn't get back to them, they can update the CAD to say we have arrived on the scene and this is what we're seeing. They can also put notes in the system, so if there's issues and problems with finding the place, update the CAD, they can do that as well. The system has a module that can be an add-on to allow us to track the deputies and the ambulances. So if a person's calling back and saying, I can't, why aren't they here? They can say, well, they're coming around the corner. We have a system similar to that with transit. I don't know if you've ever watched it, heard, but Juanita can actually tell you exactly, if she pulled up on her computer and watched that, it works off GIS, or GPS, where that transit bus is. And it also works on hotspots. She did say that Cherokee County is using the system, and they have reported it's been a benefit to the deputies and the men. The cost breakdown on the actual system is $28,488, which is fully reimbursable by the 911 funds. The cradle points, that's the hotspots that work off the cell towers and GPS, $18,525, and then that fleet tracking would be an additional $8,300. Now, I'm going to put that to the side for just a moment, and I'm going to count down to EMS for Lucas devices because they are requesting to purchase 3 Lucas devices, which is a chest compression system to assist with CPR. The total for that system is $50,541. 3-year maintenance contract would be an additional $17,901. COVID has increased the level of cardiac issues per what Larry has reported to me. Larry does have a little over $26,000 in the census grant money that he'd like to use toward that. We also, our revenues are up. But in addition to that, we got $59,000 in our EMS cost report. So if you took the census money and the cost report money, that would cover the cost of the Lucas devices, as well as get us pretty close to covering all of the NDIS and the credit points that do not cover the fleet tracking system. So that being said, I have the means to pay for it if the board is interested in it. If not, I would say that you'll probably see the request come through in their capital outlay budgets for the 21-22 budget year.
The funds that are available, Becky, do we need to just spend down on them as their, something?
No, those funds are, we can use those funds. We have to use the census dollars for EMS, because you allocated that. The cost report can be used for anything. So if you decide to wait on it, then, we could pull it out of our fund balance. And the census money does not have any kind of time frame, to my knowledge, on when you would spend it now.
Is there any discussion?
So, the Lucas devices are 53,901, is that correct?
Yes,
And,
53,541, yes.
you have 59,000 cost report money,
Yes.
so that leaves, well, that leaves 5,000 of that, right? Can that money get spent for something else?
Yes. Yeah, the cost report money is unrestricted. It's just those Medicaid dollars coming back in for where we were under reimbursed for the Medicaid costs. So that money is unrestricted. The only money that in this pot that's restricted is the 26,000 census money.
The trailer point and the fleet track, $26,825 county fund. We have that budget.
Well, we would have to do a budget amendment for that if you decided to buy it at this point. If you guys decide you don't want to do it at this point, we could just hold it and put it in the capital outlay request for the 21-22 budget. I would recommend we need to spend 911 money, but you're still, if you do the NDIS, you're going to have to get the credit points because it won't work right. So there, that's a caveat too. But what Misty would need to do is look at her other equipment needs, and it may be that she has having a brand new center over in the Z-Con workstations. She's pretty well outfitted, and it's going to be difficult to spend down at this point. And what the state will do is just reduce our 911 allocation to where it's basically pennies for a year or two.
It's important that we use the 911 funds that we do receive. I think, is there other discussion?
I think if we're going to do it, we might as well go ahead and do it now. You can use that 5,000, that knocks the county portion down to 21,000.
Correct.
Probably a year from now, it's probably going to be more expensive.
Correct.
If we have intention of doing it, however, we might as well do it. Because the money is gone.
Correct. And we've been able to, help our budget. The CARES Act money has been a blessing because it's helped us to pay all the overtime support, extra hours that our paramedics have had to work. And, that's been a blessing. So we've helped that budget tremendously.
Okay, any other discussion? Is there a motion to go ahead and make these purchases as recommended?
Motion.
Thank you. All in favor?
Okay, I have two more things, and I'll try not to drag it out with this stuff. Paramedicine, we have finished our first full year of the program. They did down, accepted our interim report we filed in October, and they sent down the second year funding for the program is about $78,000. Final expenditure we need to make on the first year's budget is a portable diagnostic system. I'll put the information in your packet. Because this system is $25,000, this is fully reimbursable by the grant, so it's already been funded. We actually have the money in the bank. The system will fully integrate with the EMR system for our primary care providers. So our notes will upload into their patients' notes. In addition, it has diagnostic and assessment systems integrated for patient evaluation. This is the same system as the other county paramedicine surrounding us are using here in Western North Carolina, so the PCPs are familiar with the integration. I have the money in the bank, and it's already been budgeted in the grant. I just need permission to go ahead and purchase it under the grant with no county dollars expended, so that I can do our final report for the calendar year in the next couple of weeks.
Do I hear a motion for the recommended purchase? For paramedicine program? Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Thank you very much. One last item, surveillance cameras. Our safety committee has identified the need for additional indoor and outdoor cameras for the P&J building, which is our Health and Human Services, Sheriff's Office, and the library. One or two is sanitation. The IT department has done a survey and determined that the need for 37 total, 13 indoor and 24 outdoor. A lot of these will be at the Health and Human Services building. Mercado has cameras on sale that we need at 60% off the cost we paid for the original set that we got for last. These cameras have proven to be highly effective. They're clear. They're stored on the cloud, so we have an unlimited capability to go back and look at the incident. Part of the cameras are for the DSS side of the P&J building, so I'll be able to get the cost back on our 1571 for those cameras. The total cost for the cameras of a 1-year license is $21,968. The cost for the same cameras with a 3-year license is $29,182. Purchase of 3-year license represents a total savings over time of the county of $2,357. I would propose that we use the additional sales tax we have collected to purchase these, because we'll never give at this price again. Typically, I wouldn't say let's buy it off all at once, but I know for a fact I talked with the representative from the company, and they said that once this sale is off, it's off. So I would request that we use some of our additional sales tax money we collected to purchase these cameras. That way we will, as far as we can tell, we'll be fully outfitted with a camera system for the entire county.
Okay, is there any discussion?
I would consider the recreation building or parties, 37 cameras going to the recreation building.
No, I did talk to Tim about it, and those cameras are fairly new, but I would prefer that we add like 2 or 3, if I can get that approved, and just go ahead and that way we're all on one system, countywide. We make it a whole lot easier. And that way, I know those cameras were down at the rec department for quite a while, like you put the switch. And these, you don't have to have all that technology around those. So if I could get those, I'd be a happy girl. A happy girl.
Okay, so your recommendation is to add 3 more cameras to this purchase.
Is that for the new building? It's the new building,
They could be hung at the new building. Yeah.
so the new building's in this.
I don't know, I think that's Tim. I'm not sure.
We're going to reserve 60% off.
Yeah, we might as well get it as many as we can get. So we could add for the pool and then the new building. I agree.
Yes, you're going to build another,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay. So if you're good with it, I can get with Tim tomorrow and find out how many more that would be, and then we can make those purchases at the same time.
Any other discussion? Okay. Do I hear a motion to purchase these cameras?
Motion.
Second? Thank you. All in favor?
Okay, and I just want to wish the board a very Merry Christmas. On behalf of the staff, I want to extend you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And a big thanks to your board's support during the most interesting year of 2020. And things really came out 2020 for all of us. And I just hope for 2021, we see the end of this pandemic. Most of the dates to remember are basically information as far as meetings and so forth that I follow. If anything on my schedule that I'm speaking for any board business for the Christmas holidays. Questions? I appreciate your approvals on all of these outlays, and we'll get them in the works.
Okay, thank you, Becky, and, Madam Clerk, do we have anyone for public comment?
No.
Thank you, Madam. Okay, then we'll move on to, the discussion item. Then, we're looking at, the approval of goal for placement of the town maternity at urgent care. Kim?
And I would like to state that poll was unanimous, but Commissioner or Chairman, Madam Chair, I'm going to have to get used to that, has suggested that we do not collect any extra for the power bill, that would be just an in-kind for the town to display the activities in the fund.
Thank you. I've heard a lot of positive comments back. I need a motion to approve this poll.
Yes.
Do I hear a motion to approve the poll? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, and the next item, would you like to cover that?
Yeah, it's time for the reappointment of the Bahia Health Board. Currently, Madam Chair Orr is sitting on that board and is doing a real good job according to Ms. Shelley Forum, and I think that Foreman and I think Jason attends to that as well.
Yes.
So she can be reappointed.
I'm making a motion.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Is there any other new or old business to discuss? Okay, I would like to take this opportunity, if I could please, to thank Commissioner Wiggins and Commissioner Cody for leadership the last 2 years, sitting in this hot seat, these hot seats here. So it's made the board meetings, most of them we've been able to look forward to them. So thank you all very much for your leadership, and thank you to the entire board. And I look forward to working with this same very cohesive, citizen-focused board, and I really appreciate all of it. Thank you so much. Now, do I hear a motion to go into close, including a 10-minute break? Okay, I'll read that, and then I'll get a motion. Okay. I will go, a motion to go into close under GS 143-318 11A 1356, privileged or confidential information and attorney-client privilege, personnel, and contracts.
Okay.
Is there a second? I'm getting back in order, gentlemen. All in favor?